Good evening, ladies and gents. So, back with another Conquerors Blade video, and this time around it's going to be the Season 13 Glaive Guide build. If you want to play Glaive, this is the only guide you will need. Before we get into the video though, hit that subscribe button if you want to be kept up to date with the latest and greatest of Conquerors Blade. So then with Season 13 we have seen the usage of the Glaive absolutely shoot up, which is a fantastic thing to see, which means the class is definitely starting to become a lot more viable again. It's always been viable in a certain kind of way, but it is definitely becoming more and more viable as the developers are kind of changing the class a little bit, buffing it up slightly as well, plus also actually giving us some very good runes this season. Runes that actually are quite useful in comparison to other seasons where the runes have been utter balls, because they have just not been useful in any way, shape or form. So I am still playing a medium armor, full medium armor for the extra damage. Now it doesn't really matter too much if you go 2 Preceptor and 2 Carnifex, or 4 Preceptor, 4 Carnifex. Like, you do whatever you want, whatever you've got spare. Obviously in the seasonal fame store, each and every season you can buy a set of light, medium and heavy armor. The medium armor is the Preceptor set, and it does increase your damage a little bit, but like I said, it doesn't really matter as long as you are playing full medium of either the Preceptor set or the Carnifex, or a mix of both. You are going to be putting out some absolute damage. In terms of my stats, I am still 100% strength. The amounts that this increases the slashing damage and the blunt damage is quite useful, and the blunt damage is still your major source of damage output, so the more you can buff that up, the better. Going in terms of agility and increasing the penetration of it is not really overly useful. Not a lot of people have a lot of armor in terms of blunt, so if you are putting more into the actual blunt damage stat rather than the blunt armor penetration stat, you are going to be pumping out more damage because of people's lack of blunt armor in the first place anyway. The skills I'm using are still exactly the same. I have tried Charge this season, I have tried Heat of Battle, although I am still somewhat using Heat of Battle. I will cover that in a minute. Arc of Steel still just is not very viable. It just does not really do much, to be honest. Halo Blades still utter trash. It's a real shame, because I think this could be a fun skill to actually play with. Still not very useful. Charge is only really useful in terms of getting out of engagements. If you are playing clever and you're playing well and you're not getting yourself stuck in places, then you shouldn't actually have need for this anyway. So I'm still playing God of Battles, Breaker of Shields, Warlord's Greeting and then Flying Reaper. This skill set seems to be the best by far for Glaive. It pumps out a huge amount of damage, and actually with one of the runes I actually do get a heated battle buff as well anyway, which is very useful. So going into the runes, I'm going to cover the Glaive runes, and then I will just show you off all the runes I'm using for my armor sets as well, just to kind of give you a bit of a glimpse into how I'm playing this class at the minute. It is a big powerhouse hitting offensive front line kind of shock assault kind of unit hero, and that is how you want to be playing it. You do not want to be in prolonged melee battles. You want to be getting in there, doing your skill rotation, whacking out as much damage as you can, and then leaving and waiting for your skills to reset. When they are reset, then definitely jump back on in there as well. Use your horse a lot as well because of both the skills on there. So the combat dismount, I actually get God of Battles proc off of that, which is very useful. I will explain that a little bit more in a minute. But the big swingy, I can't remember the actual name of it, but the big swingy round skill where you tackle lots of stuff, you do so much damage with that thing. And then using your right click as well, your mouse right click, to actually add on to that additional damage, you pump out a lot of damage very quickly on your horse. Really use the horse to your full advantage. So my Glaive, I have the legendary Glaive with extra strength and extra blunt damage. Those are your primary aspects that you want to be trying to aim for. So if you are crafting stuff or you're reconditioning stuff on your Glaive, you want to be aiming for extra blunt damage and extra strength. Forget everything else, and nothing else really kind of matters. Blunt damage and strength. Even blunt armor penetration, I would ignore that over the pure blunt damage. I'd rather more blunt damage rather than blunt armor penetration stats. Going into the runes then, so we do have some very cheeky runes this season, runes that are very useful. So first off, the one I am using is Magius. So after using combat dismount, God of Battles is triggered for 5 seconds. That is just for you as a hero. That does not proc off to all of your units or ally units around you, unfortunately. But what this does is when you jump off your horse and you go and whack someone, you will have God of Battles proc off for 5 seconds, giving you that extra kind of damage buff for those 5 seconds of jumping off your horse and whacking stuff. So if you are quite well skilled in the glaive, you will be able to genuinely like kind of trigger off your whole skill rotation in that 5 seconds as well. If you don't, then the way I play the glaive, by having the God of Battles as a separate skill, I can actually just pop it back off anyway and then actually help out everybody around me, which is my kind of thought process. The other rune I am using on my glaive is the Mercatoria. So using an ultimate skill now triggers here to battle. So what this does is once you use your Flying Reaper, you have a slight damage reduction, I believe it is, CC kind of immunity for a couple of seconds as well. Quite useful, because actually if you are going to be using that big heavy hitting Flying Reaper skill, which is your ultimate, you are probably going to be knee deep in the battle anyway, and you are going to be wanting to have a little bit of survivability to make sure that you can actually get in there, do all your skill rotation, and then get the fuck out of there. Going into all the other runes then, going on to the helmet. So I have played around with these a fair bit, and these are by far the best ones that I have found. So increases the armor penetration and value of yourself and friendly nearby troops by 8%. That's quite a good passive buff to have on all the time, both for sieges and for territory war, because it is giving you that little bit of extra armor penetration and your troops it as well, which is really useful. And then increases your defense values and those of allied heroes and units within range of 7% as well. So increasing your survivability, increasing your unit survivability as well as any other allied heroes and stuff around you. Really, really good, useful runes those. Like I said, I've tried all the other ones. So reduce all defense values of enemy heroes and stuff by 5%. Movement speed is okay. That would be the second one I would choose, to be honest. If I wasn't going to be playing with this one, I would be choosing probably the movement speed over the defense values reduction. All the other ones, just the kind of common ones, to be honest, for the helmet. I just found that this one didn't really make too much difference, so I haven't really bothered with that one. So I just thought these two just seemed to work the best, to be honest. So then going down into your armor chest piece, so I've got increased stamina by 100 points, so you've obviously got that little bit further you can run and stuff, you can get out of there. Increased armor by 5 points, a little bit extra survivability, and then increased strength and toughness by 2 points. All of the rest I don't think it is very good. I don't think really reduces damage taken by 2% is that great, to be honest. You would be using this more for the full damage reduction, but I don't think I'm overly falling off of stuff a lot, so it's kind of pointless from my kind of point of view. For every 20% the health falls, damage taken reduced by 3% as well. That's not overly great, to be honest, because trust me, you ain't going to notice 3% damage reduction if you're less than like 80% health. And then all the others are a little bit cack as well. The only one possibly you could swap out one of these for is the critical defense by 55 points. I would suggest that over any of the others, but again, these are the ones that I have found seem to work the best. Moving down into the boots. Now this is one that I think everybody should have. It does not matter what class you are. Bandages. Restore 4.5% of your health every second for 10 seconds without triggering the usual animation. The healing effect does not get interrupted by moving, attacking, getting hit, or going on your horse as well. The amount of times I've actually popped the bandage and then jumped onto my horse and ran off has saved me so many times. It isn't written down. It is only one of those things you would know by doing, and I am telling you, use this bandage rune. It is really, really useful. It does not heal you for as much as it did before, but the fact that you haven't got to stand there while it's actually happening does take a little while to get used to, trust me, but it is really, really useful, and I would suggest this to absolutely everybody regardless of what class you are on. Finally, my increased strength and toughness by 2 points, just giving myself a little bit of extra kind of buff there, because that bandage rune is 4 points, which is quite a lot, really. It is quite a lot, but it is quite useful, and it is definitely worth that 4 points there. Increased strength and toughness by 2 points, extra little bit of damage there. I think more use than the agility by 5 points personally. Going down finally into our gloves, so increases damage dealt by 2%, not a huge amount, but to be honest it is just kind of adding up to it, to be honest. I found killing a hero increases all armor penetration, and killing a hero increases your damage dealt. It's good, it's okay, but I find just having a base kind of increase of 2% is actually better than having nothing to begin with until you kill a hero, and then having nothing again when you actually die. So that's just kind of fits your playstyle. If you're finding you're killing more than you are dying, that might be useful. If not, then just stick with the base kind of 2%, and that is why I'm at the base kind of 2%. Increase strength by 5 points, obviously that's pretty much a given. You want to get that strength value up as much as possible, and then every time you perform a normal attack, critical value is increased by 9 points for 6 seconds, stackable up to 7 times. This is really, really good, because when you are there fighting stuff and your skills have all gone down onto cooldown, you should be getting yourself out of the shit, but sometimes you do get kind of caught up in places and you end up having to actually resort to your normal attacks. This is quite useful to actually increase your critical value slightly, to increase your damage output, so you can actually kill stuff to get out of whatever hell you have managed to get yourself into. That is pretty much it, I think. To be honest, I've been showing you bits and bobs of Glaive gameplay throughout the video. This is how I am building the Glaive this season. Not too many changes, to be honest. The runes have been really, really good. I hope they continue with decent runes into the next season. I don't really want to be prolonging this video any longer than what it already is, though. But let me know your thoughts down below. Let me know how you are playing the Glaive this season. Let me know of any changes in the skills you are using or the runes you are using as well. And let me know the reasons why you are using different stuff, because I'm always keen to find and learn new playstyles with the Glaive. Just to show everybody that I do kind of know what I am on about, I'm going to show you just how much I have used the Glaive. So going down all of my different battles and weapons I have used in said battles, the one I have definitely used the most is the Glaive. I have over 5,000 battles with the Glaive, and the nearest thing to it is 107, which is the Nadachi. So I've played the Glaive for quite a while now. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much for watching though, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hit that like button if you have, hit that sub button, all that lovely fan-dooby-tastic stuff, and I hope to catch you out on the battlefield.